I think many of you sitting up there, you're a smart group of people, like everybody is, that you see police departments and law enforcement agencies that forget to do good succession planning. And I think you can look locally and see it is killing them now. And they are really struggling financially to keep these agencies up. They're really losing personnel. We are in cities more and more and more than we've ever been in the past. I can tell you, my 4+ years I've been sheriff, we are in the cities more now than we were when I took over. And I can honestly say the crime rates in some of these cities are not because of their police departments, they're because of the green uniforms that you pay for. And so I never really said that publicly, but I can assure you we have rescued the city of Sarasota more in the last 2 months than the previous 4 years I was sheriff. And I can assure you we'll be rescuing them again in the near future. We are in the city constantly. But my job as sheriff is to serve all the citizens, not just the unincorporated areas. So we're building the sheriff's office for the future, and I want to make sure we have it. And I wanted to make sure I had a real hard look at what me and my team were putting together here for the future of this county, and we asked a professor from University of South Florida to come in and help us out. That's just in a nutshell, and I think y'all know me. I've been here almost 5 years now, and my job is over the next 7 years is to make sure that the sheriff's office is set for the future, and it isn't all just about money. I know that question goes up. It's always a question of money. But, you see a lot of different techniques we use to keep our workforce intact. But the reality of the fact is our hiring standards are exceptional. We're very difficult to get hired by, to be quite honest. We don't just hire anybody off the street. We don't do any preferential hiring since I've been sheriff. And so my job is to make sure we have the right hire, the right person that's going to represent the county. We're looking at the future of a design when things go in up north. Maybe having a design of deputies that are similar to Siesta Key to make sure that they entertain the international community coming in there and keep what you guys are doing up there the way you vision it to be. And, we want to put the right people in the right positions at the right locations in this community. And so that's where I just want to make sure everybody knows where we're at in the sheriff's office. It's important for me to communicate with you. I think you know that, to keep the doors open, let you ask me questions about where we're going in the sheriff's office.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Barker.
One more thing that I just remembered, and you commented on earlier in your presentation, and it's a matter of concern, is the amount of effort you're having to put in the municipalities and the cities, particularly the city of Sarasota. That's going to have to be addressed sometime then, as soon as possible. Are you tracking it so we have some measurables as to what you are expending over and above your normal?
It's really hard to track. In some degree, the larger events, I think a month ago in the last couple weeks, last weekend, we had a lot of extra duties, deputies up. I believe I communicated with Commissioner Mason is that we have, without compromising our intelligence information, is that, we're the ones carrying the load. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. That's what we're here for. But, we're the ones moving the resources. I moved a bunch of resources, a month ago, Steve? A ton of resources. And for me, it's really not about, it's really about, we serve the entire community. My job as sheriff is the entire county. And I understand that, and that does impact my budget. You want to talk numbers? I'll talk overtime. I'm moving 20 deputies up to the North City area on a Saturday, bringing them out, putting them up there, because we refuse to let people come into this county from the north. Right. And if that takes me putting deputies into the city of Sarasota to keep the city of Sarasota safe, I will do it. And so if we got to put deputies on US 301 and University Parkway to protect the city of Sarasota, we will do it. Does it impact us? You bet it impacts us. Huge.
Is the administration of the city being made aware of what you're doing every weekend or whenever you do it, or is just the chief?
I know our watch commanders talk to their watch commanders all the time, and that's something we communicate all the time. But I can assure you that with the amount of loss of the police officers in that city, it is impacting us.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Robinson.
The city of Sarasota is supposed to be the lead agency within the city limits, so this concerns me because I understand having two jurisdictions in the same area. It sounds like you're taking some lead responsibilities within the city of Sarasota, and that can create some administrative chaos, actually, if it's not if they're not being responsive to what's going on, and we're having, I mean, there will be a hole eventually because they're supposed to be in charge of that. There will be a hole eventually that happens, and you're trying to do the patchwork in there. So I'm really concerned about the fact that you're having to come in and do these sorts of things when they're supposed to be the lead agency can really start to create a problem. Having worked in law enforcement, I've been a prosecutor, worked in police departments up in the state of New York. You need that lead agency to do just that, lead. So I'm a little concerned over what you're having to do, and what it can create eventually.
Yeah. It's something we're trying to work on. At the end of the day, it's my responsibility, and at the end of the day, the entire county, when things bad happen in the county, they call the sheriff. And so, at the end of the day, my responsibility is to do what we need to do to keep the county safe. If that means going into cities, we're going to cities. Is it primarily what we want to do? No. Is it becoming more frequent? Yes. Is it becoming a major concern of mine? Is it affecting my overtime? Yes. Does it create a continuity of command and control? Yes. So what's going to happen? I don't know. I do know the city has dropped the amount of police they have in the 4 years I've been a sheriff. I believe, at least 20. So I don't know with the resource. I don't know how the resource and their people is none of my business. But what becomes my business is if we have something critical happen up in the city, then I got to answer for it and why we're there, and we're there a lot. So that's just basically 30,000-foot level. I can assure you one thing, their decrease in crime is highly attributable to your sheriff's office. I know that. So, but that's what we're here for.
Commissioner Patterson.
Well, I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, not at all.
My attitude is congratulations.
Yep.
Thank you for working so well with the cities.
You live in a city.
I live in the city, and I pay as much in taxes to the city of Sarasota as I pay to the county.
Right.
And probably half of that goes to the police, and they actually have a higher manpower per citizen ratio than you enjoy for the unincorporated area. Nevertheless, they also have a higher crime rate. They have more activities going on there. And there are jurisdictions where there is a carve-out, where there's a different millage paid, and that includes Manatee County. If you live in the city, there's a different millage paid to the unincorporated area for their services. So there is a differential being made. And actually, that differential in Manatee would increase if the election that they're proposing tomorrow passes. So I would say thank you. And, there are just a lot of events that take place within the municipalities. And frankly, if your municipalities all folded their tents, I would suggest our bill for what you need to provide would go up. And that would be unfortunate. And I sympathize with the coordination issues that, Commissioner Robinson is bringing up. I'm sure that's difficult, and congratulate you because I haven't heard a lot of fuss, so you must be managing.
No, we're okay with it. I mean, that's my responsibility. But, I'll leave it alone.
Okay, I want to bring.
It's not going to continue on too much longer because if I'm going to put them in a city, I'll just take a certain area of the city and I'll drive it down myself.
All right, just keep us in touch.
Yeah, I will.
We don't.
If I got to put that many resources in the city, I'll just go ahead and take it and be done with it.
Take the area.
I'll take the area and we'll get rid of the crime problems.
Okay. Whatever.
Yeah, we shouldn't have gone on that subject. Where we're at here is to build for what the future is of this county.
And you fulfilled that goal. When I look at the fact that I think you said you were down 58 positions, of which, 35 were sworn law enforcement in the past 7 years, yet we've grown attraction-wise, we've grown tourism-wise, we've grown facility-wise, and population. And yet you brought the crime rate down besides. So that's pretty incredible. And then what's come to light recently is you're also absorbing work for the municipalities. So when you look at all that, what you're doing, it's pretty incredible, and all I can do is, extreme thanks and appreciation, because it's a pretty incredible operation, coupled with the fact that we haven't had to think about a jail for a while.
Right.
And that's huge.
Right.
So,
and one thing I'll say to the 5U Tuesday, that wasn't the intent. I think my anxiety levels were a little high, but I am worried about my employees. I go home every night and worry about the phone ringing, and when you go into situations that are uncontrolled, that's when people get hurt.
no,
So I've been down that road. I've had that phone ring.
and don't beat yourself up for that. I mean, the municipalities are part of the county, but unfortunately, you're being called in for certain reasons, but we have to deal with that one way or another. So hopefully that'll be brought to a head pretty soon.
We'll take care of it.
Yep, thank you.
Commissioner Hines.
Let me just comment and follow up on, because that's what I've been thinking about. So I made some notes to myself, and the morale and so forth that you guys, you've cut it. Everything you said about, Commissioner Barbetta said about what you've done is phenomenal. There does come a negative to that a little bit, and we heard it some earlier the other day about increased responsibility we're putting onto you guys, and we've talked about this, the coming of Benderson Park and the facility. So what I'd say to you is what you've done this far is great and phenomenal. Now, as we build and go forward these next couple of years, please keep this communication open, because the pressures of overtime and going into situations where you're constantly being put into that. That type of information helps us when you come back next year and say, I need 10 new people, I need 20 new people. And so thank you, and we recognize the great job you're doing.
Good.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Patterson.
I'd like to add to what's been said. You're actually the third sheriff since I've been on the county commission that we've worked with, and you're far and away the most collaborative and transparent. And I really appreciate that, in addition to your success in keeping people safe in the community. And I'm assuming, and I think it's a safe assumption, that cooperation with us, both on ordinances that could stand improvement, understanding your budget, your willingness to work with Mr. Reed and our finance staff so that we all understand your needs. It's really important, and I think it makes for better service. So thank you.
One thing I'll leave you with and get out of the way, because we're over time right now, is when I took over 4 years ago, I told you I'd do that, and I believe in it, and I really do. But we'll be getting an award. I get called, your staff has been great. If you recall, some of them went to Tallahassee with us to protect the ordinance that you gave us, that you stood with us on when I came before you and said, we have a prescription drug problem, and I know those ordinances are hard. And so there's a lot of scrutiny when you do those things, but you've been there with us on these things that are really affecting our quality of life as Sarasota County.